All right, this is recording 834. It's called Listen Next 834. You can find me at speakingtothecia.com or christinastation918.com. The name of my podcast is Speaking to the CIA. You can find me on Podbean. You can find me on Spotify. My Spotify ID is Scorpio71. You can find me on YouTube. My YouTube ID is christinastation918. You can also find me on Twitter, ChristinaMS918. Okay, I'll also repeat this throughout the podcast just to make sure that people have it, because as you know, I'm being stalked by Jean Jernigan Roberts and her Manson occult, who try to steal from me. Literally, now they're to the last resort of trying to steal my podcast or parts of my podcast and changing the voices and changing the names and stealing to cover their butts for committing crimes and still continuing to do the same thing they've always been doing and trying to silence me, like I said before, is the stupidest. I mean, I'm dealing with stupid, deadly criminals. But anyway, so okay, so I want to pick up where I left off in the last recording, okay? So at the end of the recording, I was talking about what China had said in their viewpoint. So, and there was more that I wanted to say, but she was blanking my short-term memory, so I didn't get out everything I wanted to say. So I want to continue this. So another thing that was said, people were talking in the discussion of what China said, and again, that involves, they said in their words, and they said it repeatedly several times today to me, that's what they're going to do. And you can tell that my speech is being controlled right now. They said that is what they're going to do. They said they started yesterday morning. Every white woman in the United States of America, I am not talking in opposites. You guys already know that. I'm making reports to the CIA. And see, even that, she's going to clip and stitch there. I don't care what she does. They have my actual podcast. Anyway, so when I talk in opposites, I let you know. Or you already know, because you know me. I'm making reports to the CIA. I'm not doing this for fun. I'm doing this because Jean is guilty of child trafficking and committing terrorism and stalking me and my children and my families on my mom and dad's side, all of our lives. And my husbands, my ex-husbands, and their marriages, all their lives. So anyway, okay, so this is what China said. That's what they're going to do. They started yesterday morning, and they said they were talking more about it, and they said that it wouldn't be. It was additional people talking, and they were saying definitely this solves a lot of problems in the interim until Jean Roberts and her Manson occult is arrested. As you know, she's running a hostage racket and she's holding people hostage. Okay, so that's one of the major problems here. Why I'm not in witness protection, why my boys are not in witness protection, and why Jean isn't arrested. Jean is pulling a major stunt, and she's running a hostage racket. And this libel racket she runs to fund it goes into the terrorism that she also plans and then executes. And then I catch her, and then I decode it, and I turn her in. And then she steals from me, and then she pretends like she's me, and then she tries to racket that. It's just total nonsense. But everybody knows what's going on at this point. So, I mean, she's just spinning her wheels. the more she goes at me, the digger hole she deeps her, the digger that I can't even talk. The deeper a hole she digs herself. She just needs to turn herself in. Or they need to arrest her and her Manson occult. Anyway, so they said this is going to solve all kinds of problems in the interim, because one point that somebody made is Jean makes up an excuse, which is a lie, for doing what she's doing, which she's not really doing what she's doing. She's lying, first of all. And she's acting like she's doing that, but she's not. She has been trafficking babies, children, and adults in a child trafficking ring for 60 years and using ice on them to traffic them is one way that she does it. And she gives the whole song and dance as to why she's doing that today. And it's all lies. And this is what they said. They're not doing Jean's crap. There is no need to. There's no need to do anything. First of all, what Jean is doing is wrong, obviously. Secondly, even like being forced into doing that, there's no need to. There's no need to. If you let African Americans, let me say it like this, okay? If you let because I can go African Americans, Native Americans, Latin American, like I can name everybody. Let me just make it easy. If you let people, okay, and even she's controlling my speech there, if you let people, it is only going to be people that are not Caucasian doing this, okay? You won't be white doing this, because it's aimed at teaching white people a lesson. It's everybody. They don't want to hear Jean's lie gimmick shtick as an excuse to get her folly jollies, which is what she needs to be executed for. It totally flips Jean's little gimmick. Jean is Ku Klux Klan, and Jean's little gimmick is, let me slur you and call you a name and attack you, and then let me run and be your hero and let me rescue you. And doing that in a myriad of ways, and not even fully informing them that's what she's doing up front. People are wise to it now. That's messing with people. And it's also that word, I forgot, they said they had to make up a new crime for that, a new, because I was like, I don't know how to explain this. This should be a new charge, a new type of charge that should be invented. The Rosie ramjetting, where you're standing next to a person and you're like, you're intentionally incriminating them in committing a crime, and they don't know what's going on, and then they find out later that you were intentionally incriminating them, and then you tell them they can't do anything about it, like forcing you into like a silence clause or whatever. Like they just like sideswipe, like Jean goes and runs over somebody with a car. She kills somebody. And then she turns around and then she blames you. She finds out. She goes to you and she's like, hey, I hear so-and-so saying that you ran somebody over with a car. Somehow she blames you. Or it says you were involved or something, or you were there or whatever. And you're like, what are you even talking about? And she's like forcing you to engage in something you don't want to be engaged in. And she like pushes at you like bullying. Like, you know what I mean? And like you're so in shock or whatever, you're like, it evokes the response out of you, and then you are therefore engaged. And I don't know how to explain it. She somehow does it in a way where I'm sorry, she's like doing her little freaking lie injects in my brain. She always likes to do shout outs to her little nasty friend. She likes to pretend I'm talking about her little nasty people. When I'm talking about Washington, I'm talking about celebrities, I'm talking about anybody. Why would I be helping Jean and her cult? Because she's just trying to interrupt you to take up more space in the podcast. So anyway, like forcing you to respond. Do you know what I'm saying? So, and she does it in such a way that it incriminates you and makes you look guilty. And she also does this, I took care of it for you. I handled it for you. And you didn't even know anything that was going on in the freaking first place. This happened and I handled it for you. Here's the cookie for you. So now, so she does that too. And I don't know what the people said, coercion, blackmail, bribery. Might be like more like, well, it's all of that, but it's probably more like, it's a more coercion. But coercion to me is like, both parties are like knowingly, or maybe that doesn't mean they're both parties. Anyway, I don't know. But that's what she does. I call it Rosie Ramjetting. So anyway, or basically like she would do, somebody went to an extreme of her going, hey, I saw you kill this person. I'm being extreme, but this is the exact kind of thing that probably also goes on too. Another good example, I saw you kill this person. I know you were involved in killing this person. And then she tells you that she killed another person. And then they deserved it. And then next thing you know, you're hit with killing someone. If she wants you gone, if she doesn't want you gone, then she tells you you have to start helping her kill people. She does that too. And I'm talking about killing. I'm not talking about your little escapade world that you have. And I'm sorry, she's using, I know that you guys hear my podcast, and you're probably getting mad. She inserts words in my sentences. Escapade is the name of a song that Janet Jackson sings. Jean thinks she's cute doing that, injecting words in my sentences. But they're like, you guys know what I'm saying, her activities. Okay, I'm not talking about that. Again, I'm turning you in, Jean. I don't want to hear about any of your freaking crap. I turn you in. I'm talking about strictly like something like that, as in murder or terrorism or something like that. So like every situation is different, where there could be no involvement. There could be somebody might have seen something and she knows somebody saw something, and then she used ice to set up the whole situation so she would know somebody would see something. And then there's also they did something, and then she went and did something too, and then now she's like, now you're gonna go help me do the same thing. I mean, there's like all kinds of different things going on there. But anyway, so they said that if people that aren't Caucasian really do this, until Gene Robertson or Manson occult is arrested, really choose to do this. Pimp. And this is crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. Pimp every white female in the United States of America. Not every white female, every adult white female, obviously. These aren't the kind of people that are you, Gene. Every white adult female in the United States of America, and every white female adult in the United States of America knows it. That ought to bring down some of the arrogance a little bit. And let people, instead of making themselves something for a day, thinking it's cute or fun, live that. And also having it be males only that do it, to spare the hearts and souls and minds of women that aren't white, who are constantly. Let me tell you something. I've said this before on my podcast. Do you know Latin women? Well, it's Latin. It's all Latins. Latin people are the highest percentage of trafficked people of all nationalities. They are trafficked the most. Gene Jernigan Roberts is Ku Klux Klan, and she thinks that people are property. And if you have men that aren't white in any, whether you're, you know what I'm saying, whether you're black or Asian or any nationality, and they are doing this, then it's sparing the hearts and it's protecting the hearts of women that aren't white. It's amazing. It's crazy. It does so much good in the interim until this is over with. Now, Gene likes to place orders. Today she's having a fit. She's like, no, I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to tell my lies, and I'm going to do my thing, and then that's just the way that it's going to be. She's throwing a fit. That's exactly what this cauterizes. No, you're not going to do your thing, terrorist. You're not going to do your thing, trafficker. Until Gene stops her stalking, her libel racket, her terrorism, her trafficking, her hostage racket, until she and her occult are arrested, then it stay that way. And another thing, let me tell you, with that on the minds of everybody in the United States of America, that gives people a lot of time to start thinking about themselves and their own families and their own lives and how they could be a better contributor to mankind, instead of going, this is cute to slur you. I love doing stuff for Gene. She's Ku Klux Klan. I'm going to slur you too. It's okay. And then I'm going to kick it to you and you're my buddy, and then we'll just share it. Why would you as a white person do that to a black person in the first place? That's what I'm talking about. Why would you even do that? Why do you always put people that aren't white in the position of always having to finagle? You learn nothing because you do nothing because you don't care. Everything is like your way, the way you want it, and everybody just has to comply and deal with it. And all you want to do, Gene Roberts, is get away with 60 years of committing crime, and nothing else and no one else in the world matters. Just what you want to do. So this really puts Jean in a position where she has no power, and it puts power in the hands of everybody who isn't Caucasian. And it gives all white women a finger pointed at. Anyway, so, but it's really, they were bringing that up in my brain. China said they're doing this, and they're doing this for all those reasons. And I imagine everybody that was on Talking with China bringing up all that, they're doing that for all of those reasons, all of these reasons also. So I know that it's going to be done. So they also said, somebody said, what about regular human trafficking that's an issue out there? Or what about human trafficking that's an issue out there? That'll just make it worse. So we're just going to do what we want, okay? And then people in the government said, no, because you run those trafficking networks too. So you will be arrested for those trafficking networks. And what they're doing is going to affect you or not going to affect you. I don't know what they're going to do. They're going to use AI to do it. I told you everybody's iced. So anyway, you will be arrested for human trafficking. Okay, so, all right, let me end this recording. Wait a minute, let me see. I could go on here. Let me end this recording, and then I'm going to start a new recording. I'm going to do another recording tonight. I'm going to get back to Decode.